wipers.
What's wrong, honey?
I think we may have a puncture.
I think we'd better find a safe place to pull over and stop.
Right, what we've got is we've got a puncture, so we need to secure the vehicle first before we go out. So the first thing you do is you get your passengers out. You need to stay there, David, because you're the one with the camera.
Yeah.
Okay? You can get out. Get out! Get out and put the paired lip away. What we're going to do, you need to secure the vehicle, you need to stop any of the wheels from moving. So I'm going to engage first gear, I'm going to put it into low box, okay, and I'm going to put my diff lock in. Now, the reason we do all this is to prevent any of the wheels, obviously when you're jacking them, it's to prevent the vehicle from moving. And the handbrake's on. So I'm now going to turn the key off, always take the keys out of the ignition. You take the keys out of the ignition to prevent anybody from jumping in and trying to drive away while the vehicle's jacked up in the air. Right, let's get our tools. First we need a chalk, then we need a jack, we need a wheel brace, a jack handle, a torque wrench, a socket, locking wheel nut kit. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put on some gloves because we're getting in amongst the oily bits. As you can see, it's my rear left I have a puncture on. Look, see it? It's flat. So because we're going to be lifting this wheel up, what we need to do is we need to use this implement here, a chalk, to chalk the front right wheel. Again, it's to prevent the vehicle from moving. Okay? Nice and fun. The first thing we shall do is we shall take our jack and our jack handle and we will position it under the vehicle. Always place the jack on firm level ground. Right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to crack our nuts. But this here little contraption's for our locking wheel nuts. Let's take that off first.
Lefty loosey, righty tighty.
Yeah, lefty loosey, righty tighty, yes I know. Right, the nuts are cracked. We're now going to jack up the vehicle. It's chalked, it's in gear, handbrake's on, we've got the passengers out, we're ready to jack. Let's jack. It's important when you're jacking not to actually go underneath the vehicle, because if you do have a disastrous situation whereby the vehicle comes off the jack, you don't want to go under there for obvious reasons. That's why jacks generally come with nice long handles. Now that we're jacked up off the ground, we will release the wheel. When lifting the wheel, it is important to have your knees bent and maintain good manual handling technique. tighten the wheel nuts up, FT. FT means correct, finger tight. That's finger tight. We're now going to release the jack to drop the wheel back onto the ground. We're going to use this chap here. This here is a torque wrench. We're going to torque up the wheel nuts to 170 Newton meters. Now where we find that is in the vehicle handbook. All vehicles have a handbook and it will tell you in there what the wheel nuts need to be torqued to. In this case it's 170 Newton meters. So I will set my jack 170 Newton meters. In your handbook you'll also find the sequence. Generally it's on the diagonals. Now this one here is 1, 2. The click tells you that you hit the correct torque. 3. 4. 5. That's all that we're going to do now. As soon as possible you want to check the tyre pressure on the tyre. It's been your spare for a little while so it may or may not be, although it's part of your weekly check it will be the correct pressure. But just to double check, as soon as you can get to an airline, check your tyre pressure gauge. Replace the cover for the locking wheel nut. And then put all your equipment back where it belongs and put your spare wheel back where it belongs as well. Ta-da!